Do you want to find out a secret? Well, thanks for joining us and for hanging out. I'm Maria, and I'm going to teach you a secret why a lot of people just don't get the band scores they need on their IELTS or CELPIP speaking test. And since you follow us every week on our weekly newsletter, you are going to get exclusive access to this video. We're not going to be posting it anywhere else. Only you will get to watch this. So, want to find out the secret? It's really simple, but it will make a huge difference in your performance and will ultimately boost your band score. Now, the secret is that examiners want to hear how natural you sound. That's it. They want to hear how natural you sound, okay? They want to hear your flow. How can you use your English in everyday life? You're probably wondering, yeah, Maria, but what does that even mean? What does it mean to sound natural? So I've broken down 5 different ways that you can understand what natural means and how you can identify if you are speaking naturally in English and maybe you are making some of these mistakes on your own speaking test. This applies for both the IELTS and the CELPIP speaking test. So let's get started. So number 1, memorized answers. We've made videos about this in the past. Memorized answers are not good, guys. No bueno. You do not want to use any memorized answers on any part of your IELTS or CELPIP test. This also goes for the writing, but especially on the CELPIP or IELTS speaking test. That's because memorized answers make you sound very fake, mechanical. They make you sound very robotic. It sounds like you memorized an answer. It doesn't sound like your English. And if you think about it, the examiners want to test your English. And if it sounds like you memorized or copied and pasted somebody else's English or a phrase you learned, you're not really using your English. You are just reproducing somebody else's. So they can't even really use it as part of your assessment. Also, it affects your intonation, because when you use something memorized, you just don't sound natural. You sound like very flat when you speak, and that will affect your performance and pronunciation. It doesn't sound natural, and nobody wants to speak with somebody who's memorized a response. Sometimes people might even respond with an answer that doesn't even make sense. So memorized answers are not acceptable on the test, and it does not sound natural. Number 2, using linkers and conjunctions, and just using too many of them. A lot of people know that it is important to use linkers and conjunctions, and linkers like furthermore, also, moreover, in my opinion. Yeah, it's great to use these. But what happens is a lot of people end up using a linker every 4 or 5 words, and that ends up creating a really uncomfortable response to listen to, because the speaker ends up going, whoa, 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 they're getting stopped every 2 seconds. Imagine if you spoke to somebody in your first language and every 4 words they added in a linker. It wouldn't be a very natural or smooth conversation, right? You'd probably feel like you're being jerked around a little bit. So imagine that you're driving in a car with someone and they change the gears quite a lot. That's what it might feel like. So you want to add linkers to create flow. Linkers are meant to create flow and to transition and to connect between ideas. They should not be used just to use them because you think you have to on the test, okay? That does not sound natural at all. So use linkers the right way. If you need help learning how to use linkers, definitely reach out to our team and we can help you with that. Number 3, how much or how many times you pause and for how long you pause. Now, it's okay if you pause. A lot of people ask us, is it okay if I pause? It's okay. There's nothing wrong with stopping to think about what you're going to say. Even a native speaker would need to pause and think a little bit about their next idea or argument or opinion. That's okay. But if you are struggling to find words or how you are going to say it, then that's when it starts to become a problem, because you'll start getting lost in trying to find words. And this is when your flow will get affected. And that's when you start losing that natural response. So try to reduce the duration of your pauses so it sounds like you're thinking, but it should not be a really long pause. Another one that people ask are those words like You know what? That's actually not that bad, as long as they're not interrupting your flow. Because even a native speaker would go, yeah, huh. That's not the end of the world. If you listen to somebody even in your first language, we do go, huh. It's very natural to make those sounds while we are processing our ideas. It's just that a lot of times we end up doing that for too long because we don't know what we're going to say next. And the issue is a lot of people or students or candidates, they stop for a long time because they don't know how to say it. And that's where the problem lies, is that they just don't have the English fluency yet. So the myth is that you're not allowed to make those sounds. That's not really a rule. You can make those sounds. It's not going to affect how natural you sound. It's okay. Even a native speaker would make those sounds. It just depends on how much it affects your flow. And finally, repetition. How many times do you stop and go back and repeat yourself? You know, a lot of people don't realize they do this. In class, they'll start the response and then they'll go back and say the same thing over again. It sounds like they are rewinding and going back and saying it. They might say something like this. In my opinion, I think they'll completely reword what they were trying to say, and they'll go back and try and correct themselves to start the sentence all over again. And it's really hard for the listener to follow what they're trying to say. And that ultimately affects the flow, and it's not very natural. So correcting yourself all the time and having to go back and correct yourself and go back and repeat yourself is not the best. If it happens every once in a while, that's okay. But if it happens quite a lot where the listener has to go, oh, that's not the best. That will definitely affect your flow. So those are 5 reasons why you won't sound natural on your test. And they are things that you can listen for. So what I encourage that you do is that you record yourself doing a speaking test for the IELTS or the CELPIP, and try and see if you can identify some of these 5 things that you think that you might be doing. Are you stopping all the time? Are you using any memorized expressions? Are you going back and repeating yourself all of the time? Really check in with yourself and see, are you making these mistakes? And if you need help preparing for your IELTS or CELPIP speaking test, you can reach out to our team at English for Canada. We are a team of Canadian English teachers, and we can help you boost your band score for your IELTS or CELPIP speaking test. Thanks for joining us today. Thanks for hanging out. And you can trust us. We are here to help you. And at the end of the day, our goal is that you finally get the band scores you need. So I hope that this video has helped you, whether or not you join us in class or not. Have an awesome evening or whatever time zone you are in. Bye.